So first up, how to add an extra organisation. Now when you log in, you would be straight away be taken to where you have to add an organisation. You press on that, and it is an online thing, so sometimes you'll have to be patient. You have to fill out your exercise name, so on Andrea's Furniture, and so on. I'm not going to do it all here. It's important that you say what the organisation does. I usually put accounting education down here, but you can put down anything really. There it is, down here somewhere, or just straight education, doesn't really matter. It's really immaterial, but you need to start the trial, and away you go. So when it comes up, it asks you to do a whole lot of other things, and what I want you to focus on now is to add some accounts. So how to create new accounts in the chart of accounts. Well, what you need to do is to go up here to settings, chart of accounts, and you'll see the accounts that are currently in this organisation already set up for you. It's obviously all zeros. If you want to add an account, go there. Firstly, what we must do is add a bank account, which is really important. In your exercise, there is a amount for $55,000 that you need to set up your account for. It doesn't really matter what bank you take. I call it cash at bank. Make sure you spell it right. Type of account doesn't really matter, but everyday account. The BSB, you can put in some fictitious details. You can see here what I'm doing. The numbers doesn't really matter what they are. I'm just putting in random in there, and continue, and my bank account is set up. I'm going to skip this process because I don't have a real life bank account, and you can see from here that I've got a bank account, but I put nothing in it yet. Now I'm going to show you how to do the first transaction, namely the credit purchase. We need to go to the account section, purchase new bill, and the transaction I'm going to show you is that we purchased 19 wardrobes, next text exclusive, and I'll show you to do that. So within here you go to accounts, purchases, we want to go to new bill, it's new invoice that we got from bedding wholesalers. You put that up there. There it is. Usually have to put into a date. It's usually 30 days or so, but just for the hell of this assignment, that's okay. We're buying wardrobes. We bought 19 of them, so I'll put that in. Important thing here is that it's the price is not inclusive, it's exclusive, because we're dealing with the cost price to us. So we approve that one. So that's when we buy it. The next one I'm going to show you, if we then return some items. So we go to the same item, and this time we've got to generate a credit note, and I'm assuming that we are returning 5 of those. It's wardrobes. You must select that 5 that we return. That's the assumption I'm making. Again, it's tax exclusive. And once you get to this place, you've got to allocate the credit to the actual initial invoice that it related to, and it's this invoice that we generated before. I'm going to allocate all of that against that initial invoice, so that means that all that remaining credit is done. So when we go to have a look at our amounts outstanding, you see there's 2 items there. One of them which that relates to here, so the net amount there. Let's make an assumption that bedding wholesalers are going to pay, say, $10,000 or say $5,000 straight away. You do that. you add the payment, but importantly, you must also then allocate what account we're going to pay from. That's cash at bank. So we add the payment here, and you'll notice in a moment that we still going to owe some money, because initially we bought 19, we bought five back. We paid $5,000, and we still owe $5,472. So they're all the items that we do from our purchase module. Now I'm going to show you how to do a credit sale. You've got to go to Accounts, Sales, New Invoice. The transaction I'm going to show you is that Adept, who is a customer of ours, purchased 30 gutting sinks for $275 each. Here's the invoice, and it's tax inclusive of that price. So when we go here, we go to Accounts, Sales, New Invoice. New invoice, there it is. A bit slow. It's to Adept. The person's already there. No, it's not. Make it payable at the end of the month. If there's a different number, you can put it in there. There we are. The item that we're selling are garden settings. We have sold 30 at $275. It's got to go to the sales account, and there is the amount there, and it's tax inclusive. So what that means is that the total amount, that's the sales price there. So I've made sales of 8,250 less the tax that we owe. So once we approve that, the next assumption I'm going to make is that 2 have been returned. I'm then going to show you how cash is paid through the bank account, manage accounts, spending money. The assumptions here that I'm making on the 7th here, 8th, we paid some accounting fees, and I'm going to show you one without GST as well. So let's just make a start. So under accounts, bank accounts, it's a little bit different to the other 2 modules that we've been working on. You go to manage accounts, it's the only difference here, and we're going to spend money. You can see that it keeps track of the amount that is in the bank at all times. We're going to pay to the accountants. We need another item here. Accounting. So importantly, the amount that the account I'm going to use here is this one here, consulting and accounting. That's fine. I'll purchase that item. GST and expensive, that's an important thing. The unit price in this instance was 406 according to my example. And you can see that's a tax inclusive. So there's a little bit of tax there. So everything's okay. I say yes. I'm going to show you one without tax. So let's just do that one. So the amount, the type of transaction I'm going to have here is we paid wages. So we've got to set up another item. So the item that I've got to put on there is wages. Purchase this item. Importantly, the purchase account is what I've got to put in here. Wages and salaries. It is actually excluded. Wages and salaries doesn't have any tax, so you put BAS excluded, and the tax won't come up at all. The amount that I'm going to take here is $7.94. So you can see here there's no tax on that. That's simply by having either BAS excluded, or later on if it's not, doesn't come up, you can say no tax. Okay, just two ways of doing that. So I save that. That means I've done two items of spending money. Now I'm going to show you how to deal with when we receive cash. So this instance I'm going to show you this particular transaction. We must go to accounts, bank accounts, manage accounts, receive money. So let's go and do that. So under accounts, bank accounts, manage accounts, receive money. So we receive from sale of van, it's cash. Item I don't actually have to put in there. I was put in here because this doesn't come, it doesn't recur, so that it's no point in putting an item that comes up all the time. Sale of van, it's just something that happens every now and then. Obviously, just sold one. It was for $9,900. It was tax inclusive, so there is some tax there. The account that I've got to credit is the delivery van, of course, and we sold it and got $900 worth of tax to pay on that. So that's the van that we sold. So that's the easy bit. So that's gone to our bank account. Now I'm going to show you how to make a general journal. You need to go to the Advisor tab, Manual Journals, New Journal. So in Xero, we need to have up here, we need to have the Advisor tab, but it's not on here at the moment. So the way to get that up, if you haven't already done so, is to go to General Settings. You have to go to User, or Users, select yourself down here, that's me, and I then have to click the Advisor tab down here like this, save it, and you note in a moment up here you've got the Advisor tab from where you can actually choose your manual journal, and that's your general journal entry interface that we have to come across. The new journal that we have to do, was the example I'm taking, is that we're going to accrue interest of $200 for November, okay, and that is on a investment, so it's a revenue, okay. So so that's interest accrued on investment. Let's just say the date can be today's date. If you only press in the description, the same thing comes up there. The account that we want is accrued revenue. Pretty sure it's not there, so I'm going to make that at 625, a new account. There we are. It's a current asset, obviously. 625. I'm going to make that. I'm going to call that accrued interest. That's my current asset account. It doesn't have any tax on it. The amount is for $200. The other account is interest, of course. I must find that income account. There it is there. It's already there for me. You can see how it's relatively smart here, this program. It predicts that you want to make a credit entry there. As it happens, it does. I'll post that and then I'm done. This is the last section I wanted to show you. The reports menu is very important, and especially in terms of the journal report, so you can track the transactions as you make them. You have a look at the reports menu, and I'll take you to the all reports here. The first one I wanted to show you is down a bit under the accounting one, called the journal report. It's really useful to check your progress, and you would already have a manual set of transactions, and you can obviously check against here to see whether the debits and credits are right, to see whether you've input this information correctly into Xero. So if you wanted to check a certain account, for example, let's just look at the cash at bank account here. You click on there, and then you would go here to this number. So it tells you what has occurred for this month. You click on the number, then it gives you the individual amounts, and that means that, for example, if you want to check something and correct it, or indeed delete it if you made a mistake, you then need to then go on to the original transaction, and once that comes up, you can then delete it or change it, whatever the case may be. So in this particular instance, if I wanted to get rid of it, then I go to options, remove, redo. Alright. And this is a good thing to do as you go along, to check the progress of all the individual transactions you put in. Once you get to the end of all of your transactions, one thing that I'll be looking at very closely is the trial balance, which will be your basis for producing your own income statement and balance sheet. It's got a bit more to it than you actually need, and but it's the final figures here that you obviously need to take note of. Okay, you can publish it and then print it or export it in a PDF or Excel even. That's it's quite useful. And the other two reports that I want you to generate, one's the profit and loss, which is the other word for income statement. You can see it's got a whole lot of other columns and bits and pieces here, and it's not very well set out. You can do that via the layout options. I'm not going to show you that at the moment, but there's a separate tutorial for you to learn how to do that. You can publish and obviously print, and I'm going to ask you to export those things to me when you submit it. And similarly, the balance sheet. That needs to be again formatted, so you can go to the layout options. We only need one column. You don't need the 2016. Obviously you can't do it because you're only doing it for 1 month effectively, and you can publish and export it that way. Hopefully that's been useful to you throughout the reports. If you need any more help, then go within YouTube or Xero help itself, and you'll find other information that you need to know. Thanks for listening. The final element of this exercise is to be able to do a bank reconciliation, but before you can do that, you must be able to import a bank statement. Now that's been prepared for you. The way that you import that particular, what they call a CSV file, you go to Accounts, Bank Accounts, Manage Accounts, Import Statement, and you choose a file, and then you import it. This is how you do it. So in Xero, you go to Bank Accounts, you then choose, go to Manage Accounts, Import a Statement, you find where it is. I would have sent it to you, and you would have already had it saved. It's called Xero Bank Statement Exemplar. You press it there and say import, and you'll find all the bits and pieces there. videos. You can see that there are some matches, and then that's when you get into your matching, and the items that aren't matched and so on and so forth. You have to follow the procedure. I'm not going to show you how to do that in this particular video, except that you can go to this channel here. It's just a matter of typing bank reconciliations and Xero into Google, and you come up with this particular video, and it shows you how to do that.